welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah and this is B.fleye Beauty, and we're just gonna get ready today. Feeling like just being chatty. I did not do a video last week. I've been not feeling myself, and I'm not sure if it's perimenopausal stuff, if it is the world basically being on fire. I'm not really sure. But I just didn't get to it. That's all there is to it. I just didn't feel like doing a video. So I have lots of ideas still. I do have more skincare basics videos coming up, but I just wanted to get ready today and just chat. So today is Monday after Mother's Day, and I typically try and make Monday like the least worky day as possible, because I basically work every day, at least a little bit. So I let myself sleep in a little bit more on Mondays. I get some errands done. I walk the dog and all that stuff. So got some errands done right now. So I thought, let's just get ready while I am letting my stripper on patio, wooden patio set sit. We'll see. I do not have all the right stuff per the usual. So maybe we should zoom in a little bit. Let's zoom in a little bit. I'm also gonna do, have an idea for a video on my birthday that is kind of about things I've let go, things I'm embracing about myself. So I'm excited to do that video as well. But today I just wanted to talk about a couple things going on. I just feel like I haven't done a chatty video in a while, not like anybody watches anyway, but my eyelashes look weird. I cried a lot yesterday because it was Mother's Day, and it's not my favorite day. It's actually one of the hardest days for me of the year. If you didn't know, my mom passed away kind of suddenly, like unexpectedly, about 5 years ago. It's actually going to be 6 years in November, so it's about 5.5 years, which is absolutely wild. But the Mother's Day has always been one of the harder days, and I think everybody's different when they lose a person. I think like the anniversary of her death is really hard, just because there's also a lot that happened surrounding her death regarding family. If you have a big family, you probably already know without me having to explain anything. But it was kind of a shit show, so my body does not really enjoy that time of the year just in general, because it was very stressful, even like not having anything to do with her death but other stuff. So like obviously that part of the year really sucks, but Mother's Day is probably the hardest holiday, like harder than her birthday, harder than anything else. So it's kind of a rough day. I went ahead and went to church, made sure I got my booty there. It's hard because since we've taken over this neighborhood for work, I have to be at the model home every other Sunday. So I'm having to miss more church lately. So I do want to make sure that I'm in church on the days that I am free, so that I'm not missing too much. And so yesterday was one of those days. I didn't have to be at the porch, so, which is the name of the neighborhood. I didn't have to be at that model home, so I was like, well, you need to go to church, but I just skipped worship because it's just too hard. It's just too hard to listen to music on those days. I still cried all the way through service anyway. But I really loved the message. I like the series we've been doing. I've talked about this a little bit, like how we got a new pastor. He planted our church about 20-ish years ago, and he took on a new church in San Francisco. So, well, new to him, not a new church. But anyway, so he moved on and we got a new pastor. And, you know, when you're someone who does not like change, like I think it's a good thing, and I think it all worked out for good. It all worked out in God's timing, and everything happens for a reason, and all blah, 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 blah. But it's been a hard transition for me. So some really cool things is, which sounds so silly, because I've had an issue with prayer lately, but the pastor opens up the church for prayer on Wednesdays, and so once in a while I get a text from him saying he's praying for me, or if there's anything he can pray for. And come to find out, I've needed that. Come to find out, I have needed that. Who would have thunk? So I was like, oh, I love that. He's just got a different energy on when he preaches than what I'm used to, but his message is great, his heart is great. And so at this point, I'm staying and just feeling it out. We're just gonna, until it feels wrong, we're gonna stay. I have had like feelings of wanting to try a more liturgical church, and I've talked about this in the past, but no, battery, don't die. Like right in the middle of doing something. So yeah, I've been thinking about doing a more liturgical church because I've never really been to a church that focuses, and not like focuses, but makes it a priority to do communion every Sunday, or, you know, I've just never been a part of a church like that, or other liturgical pieces, like reciting certain things. And I don't know, it just, I've been kind of craving something different, and I just don't know when that is. And I feel like my gut is pretty strong. So I should just trust that, and along with prayer, of course, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like we know when God is telling us to do something next. We just have to be open to it. And I just don't feel like I'm there, is what I'm trying to say. Like, because like, here's the thing. Knowing that I'm like a very loyal person, I don't like change, I enjoy like the relationships that I've built in our church, I don't want to have to start over, right? But am I missing out on something spiritually that I could be having at another church? I don't know. So that's kind of where I'm at. At this point, I am staying, and then we're gonna see how it goes. I also want to talk a little bit about weight loss. Where are we at here? Like phone calls, battery dying. So I've done a whole video on this, maybe multiple videos, and it's been a while, where I kind of talk about my relationship with food, my mom, eating disorders as I've grown up. So we'll just do like a quick short version of that, which is I was a chubby kid. I wasn't huge, I wasn't obese, especially now that I look back at pictures, I was like, oh my gosh, I was a normal freaking kid. But because I was told I wasn't, I never believed I was, until I went to therapy and like, did a lot of work and research and all of this stuff. But, you know, I look back and I'm like, oh my God, I was fine. And also I want to say, like, I really praise my sister who has a bunch of kids on how she talks about food with them, because she had a very similar experience as I did, and we all the girls really did with my mom. Maybe different, like different extremes at different times of our lives, but we've all kind of dealt with that. So my sister like made a point to be different with her kids, and I just really, really love that. I mean, I was basically on a diet since I was 2, and I used to hide food, and because I was terrified that my mom would find out, and like it was a vicious cycle. So I've had an issue with food. I will say that whether my mom and family caused it, whether I was already like this and then it was exacerbated by my mom, I don't know. But I was also very young when it started, so it's very hard to talk about. I just know that I have been obsessed with food. It's all I think about 24/7, always, always, always. Like my whole life, whether I'm hungry or not, I am constantly thinking about food. So I feel, here's the thing, I know how to lose weight. I've been on all the things, been on all the diets. The reason I have lost weight on any of these diets is because I'm eating less. I know I must eat less. The problem is when you're obsessed about food and you don't have, I also didn't grow up with like a normal size appetite. I have a huge fucking appetite. So having to deal with that, I used to cry. I used to literally cry as an adult when I would get hungry after a meal, because I was like, I just freaking ate. Why am I hungry again? Now, granted, some of it I might not really be hungry, right? Like when you go through some of the things you go through and you experience certain things regarding food, it can sometimes blind you to what real hunger is, what real thirst is, mental stuff surrounding food, to the point where like, was I hungry? I don't know. That's all I could think about was food. So it was hard to decipher what was hunger, what was mental. Just a constant struggle, up and down, always on a diet, always obsessed. And so my doctor had been trying to get me to try a GLP-1. And I was terrified of it. And, you know, a lot of it was, how is it going to affect me? Number two, and probably should be number one, is what are other people going to think about me? They're going to think, oh, I took the easy way out and blah, 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 blah. So I talked to my doctor about it for a really long time, and I finally decided to try it last year. I tried it in April, and I will say that it was absolute freedom. I think it is like perfect for my family and what we struggle with. When you grow up, everything surrounding food, like everything being about, like food was everywhere. Food was at every church function. Food was at every family function. And it wasn't just, oh, eat, you know, this is a healthy meal and then we move on. Like it was an obsession thing. Like I ate and ate and ate. So it was part of like a scare thing. Like, who knows when I'm going to be able to eat again, right? So it was like this stupid mental jumping around with food. So the injection took that away. I will say though, the first 4 to 6 weeks, I couldn't really eat anything. So any weight loss that I had at the beginning was because I was not eating, period. I was basically starving myself, not on purpose, but I physically could not eat for the first 4 to 6 weeks. I was literally eating burnt Cheez-Its. And it's really weird because a friend of mine who's also on it, that's also what she ate. So it's interesting because what this thing does for you is there's a lot of studies on this to help addiction, not just with food, but with like they're actually doing research on using this for alcohol and drug abuse because it literally takes cravings away, number one. But number two, it does make some people nauseous and because it also slows your digestion. So that part took a long time for me to get over. So a lot of the weight that I lost in the beginning was because I wasn't eating at all. After that died down, I was able to have an appetite, a lower appetite. I will say, I will be real honest, it does take a lot of your appetite away, but the majority of the help for me after getting over the nausea was the food noise. And I think it will help people with alcohol and drug addictions as well because that noise is completely turned off. It is a miracle drug for that. But you do have to be honest with yourself. Like a lot of the weight loss comes from just not eating, period, because a lot of people can't. And some people never feel that, which is very interesting to me. Like a lot of people do not feel the nausea, which is great because honestly, the way you want to do it is you still want to like keep your protein up and all that because the reason I lost a ton of muscle at the beginning was because I wasn't eating. If you're not eating, your nutrition is not supporting your muscle growth. So I am like the flabbiest I've ever been in my life, which is freaking hilarious. But I will say it, like I wouldn't go back and change anything because I like got my mind in check and I'm slowly like, I've been dwindling down to maintenance for months now. So I will say that it is like a miracle thing for my family and people that are like me. So I'm very thankful for it. And I didn't really want to talk about it before because I was nervous about what people would think of me. But just know, like I have done enough struggling and I know I've lost weight multiple times on my own. It's not that I don't know how, it's the brain part helping me to just relax and to realize like I'm okay. Even if I'm hungry, it's okay to not eat right now. It's okay to not overeat. It's okay to skip a meal once in a while. Not on purpose, but you know what I mean? Like a normal eating person stops when they're full and they might eat too much ice cream, but that's like not a regular thing for them. So what it did for me personally, again, after the 4 to 6 weeks of nausea, which does help you lose a lot of freaking weight, was to change my mind. I would forget to eat because I just wasn't thinking of it. And it is such a freedom. Oh my gosh, is it freedom? I cannot say enough like how insane it is. But if you are someone that struggles with the food noise and obsession, like we know how to lose weight. And that is, right, like eating less is it. Obviously, there is a nuance to it, like when you're perimenopausal or in menopause, or when you have PCOS or, you know, whatever it is, like that's gonna that's gonna affect you. But in the end, it is about eating less, and this helps you do that because of the mental state. And so I am still afraid to talk about it because I don't want people to judge me. And it's funny because I really don't give a crap about what people think of me anymore, but in that area I do. And I don't know why that is, but it is that way, and I do worry about it. But I'm excited because a lot of people in my life have tried it, and it is helping. And I don't know. We could just probably talk about other stuff now. But, ooh, that's pretty. Apparently it's been around, like a friend of mine's dad was on some form of it like a million years ago. Like he passed away 7-ish years ago, and he was on it a long time before that. So these drugs have existed for a while. You know, it just wasn't in the public, and now it's in the public. And so, which I didn't know that. I didn't know it existed that long ago, 20 years ago or longer. But most of these drugs do. They just find out, you know, like science is continuing to find out things and new ways of doing things, and how medications can help more than what you allotted it to be. So I do think it sucks when they decide that like it doesn't need to be covered for those things. Like, it's just a money thing. It's a money thing is what it is. And I think our society needs to work on that. But, you know, with Crazy Face in the presidency right now, I don't know that anything of value will be done anytime soon. I do think that a lot of my depression and anxiety lately has to do with what's going on in our world, and I'm trying to balance that out. Like, I don't know about you guys, but like, I do want to know what's happening in the world. I do want to be informed, especially with what's going on in my state, my city, and my country. But at some point, right, it can be super overwhelming, and I do think I am experiencing that a little bit. I'm having a lot of perimenopausal symptoms, and then we have what's going on in the world. I do find it very hard to be creative right now. I find myself crying a lot more, which is, to be fair, I am a crier on the regular anyway, but I feel just extra emotional. And I do think it's a combination of, like I said, perimenopausal stuff. Tell me what kind of symptoms you guys have had if you've gone through menopause or you're going through it. I get itchy skin. My whole facial skin has changed completely. Like, I'm a whole different person. And like, my skin is a whole different skin. I feel like sexy time is like not a thing. I don't need that, which is crazy. And I'm definitely speaking up in ways that I've never spoke up before. And I know people are laughing at this because I'm a very outspoken person, but I'm only outspoken where I feel safe, if that makes sense. And now I'm starting to feel outspoken even when I don't feel safe, because I'm losing all the F's, if you know what I mean. Like, I don't give a at all about it. It's just wild. Like, women have told me that this is what happens, and I'm like, there's no way I will get to that point. Oh yeah, there is, and I am there. So like, I'm just saying the things, especially regarding men, and I just don't care. All right, so I just use, so this kind of sucks because this is Suva Beauty. She does not exist anymore. She just closed her brand. But this is the cake liners that I just used. And I use this purpley one, and I think it looks freaking awesome. I used yesterday for Mother's Day, I want to get some more of these, the matte fluid eye paint by About Face. This stayed on through literally the whole day of crying. I cried basically all day long yesterday, and that stuff did not come off, which is a miracle. So we're gonna try the Suva Beauty today and see if that works the same way. I'm very excited to try that. Ooh, let's spray. So yeah, the state of the world. I think my biggest concern is just caring for others. I think that's my biggest, like, I still get shocked on how people react to things going on in the world. Like, they really don't give a crap about anybody else. And I find that wild, because that's all I care about. Like, I get so hurt when, you know, something happens to someone and they don't, I don't know. It's hard to talk about these things, but just know that I care very, 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 very deeply about people in this country, and it breaks my heart with some of the things that are happening, most of the things that are happening. Like, I've really come to the realization that I want to be rich. I do. I want to freaking have so much money, but I want it so that I can live freely and, like, I can help people that are in need, because most people, there are exceptions to this rule everywhere, okay? Like, I've come across exceptions to this rule as a teacher, as a human being in the world, but I will say that 90%, and this is from experience, 90% of people that I come across that are struggling in this world are working their ass off to not be struggling. And they really, really, really need help. And I want to be an advocate. I want to be an advocate. I want to be an advocate for that, for people that need help. And I want to be able to send $500 to somebody when they really need it and they're not asking for it, and it could really just help somebody, you know. But, like, I don't have the money to do that right now, and I want to be able to do that. And I think that we could use more of that in this world, where we just care about each other and come back to community. Like, I do believe that God made us to live in community, and when you look at scientific research, separate even from talking about God, you will see that that is what keeps you living the longest, is living in community and having friends and people to count on that you do life with. So I think if we focused on that a little bit more in the world, like taking help ourselves, giving help when we can, being there for people, being there for single moms that are struggling, being there for, I mean, I feel like so many of us, myself included, especially if I did not live with Freddie, like, we could be one paycheck away from being homeless. You know what I mean? Like, the world is very expensive, and I would love to have money to be able to help people. And I think people with shit tons of money could have that outlook too, and they don't. So it's hard for me to believe that this is how we want to treat people in our world. It just makes me very, very sad. But yeah, I'm trying to balance it out. I'm making a therapy appointment for June, where I feel like I will be more financially stable to be able to do that. And I do think that going to therapy is a privilege, but you can always make payments, you know what I mean? So I need to just get back on that train, because I think that will help me a lot kind of deal with perimenopausal stuff, the state of the world, and all of that. So hopefully you guys are hanging on out there. I know we might not all have the same opinions, but hopefully we have the same opinion that people deserve to be taken care of and loved. And I do think that that's what God would want us to act out, you know? So that's been my goal this year, is to, one, stay informed, be kind and helpful wherever I can, and then try to take care of myself in the process. I will say that losing weight has helped me a lot to just be able to focus on something else. When your obsession is weight loss for almost 45 years it's hard to focus on something else. And I think this medication has given me the freedom to just like do shit, you know what I mean? Like, excuse my language, but it's when you are so obsessed with one thing, it's hard to have freedom to do things that are really important in the world. And I feel like this has given me the freedom to do that. I just need to get out of a funk so that I can do those exciting creative things that I want to do, honestly. So let me gotta clean this up, but I think this is where we're at. I already went and took the pup for a walk. I think we're gonna go to the gym tonight, maybe. But I'm gonna go work on the rest of my patio set, and then hopefully the next video you will see will be maybe an acid video. Not me tripping, but you know. Let's use this. I got some new lip oils. I'm gonna do a haul soon of new stuff, but this is the Wet n Wild lip oil. 7 oils, it says. This one is Vintage Society. I don't have anything on my lips, but we'll just do this. I think that'll be really pretty. And then I'll clean up the mascara, but we should be done here. Let's do a little cleanup. And I thank you for being here and watching. But let me know how you're doing. How are you getting through all the BS going on in the world right now? I've been doing a lot of hammock reading, and I'm going to be doing a lot of that over the summer. So being out in nature helps a lot. All right, I think this is the final look, guys. Final look for my Monday day at home. Let me know down below how you're doing, guys, if you're hanging in there, and I'll see you next time. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye.